Buenos dias from beautiful Barrio Huanuca in Matagalpa, Nicaragua. It's been about a week since my last update. Wanted to give a very quick update. As you all know, I did get my cedula. I do have the temporary 1-year annual residency established as a pensionado. That mission is complete. I do have to fly back to Florida regularly for medications. I've posted that numerous times. So I had a pre-planned trip before the cedula was scheduled and approved, because you have to buy tickets in round-trip fashion. You have to show proof of exit. So I already had a flight before my 90-day tourist visa was going to expire. I verbally notified Migracion when I was in the application process. I verbally notified the in-home interviewers who did take notes. But now that I have a cedula, there is a law that evidently has been in effect for some amount of time that's now actually being enforced. If you are a foreign resident in country with a cedula, so no longer on the 90-day 180 tourist status, you have to ask permission to leave the country. One of the criteria for residency is that you can't be gone more than 180 days out of a year. My assumption with this is they're trying to keep a tighter track of foreigners in their country, which isn't a problem for me, and all countries need to have greater accountability of who is and who isn't in their country. Most people in North America would be all about keeping tabs on quote-unquote foreigners, regardless of their status, whether it is a permanent resident with a green card, a travel visa, an education visa, a work visa, a refugee visa, what have you. So I have zero problems with this. So what we've been informed of up to this point is you have to have a formal letter drafted to Migracion, which I've already typed up. You identify your full living address, your phone number, your email. You provide the cedula number, you provide your passport number when it expires, and you inform them of the total number of days and the exact dates that you're going to be leaving Nicaragua and then returning Nicaragua. Already did that. You also have to have a copy of your cedula and passport in color. Already did that. One of the reasons I bought the printer scanner that I did. So I don't have to constantly go somewhere and pay to have that done. And just for good measure, I actually have attached a copy of the itinerary for those flights. So this is a service. It's not issuing an ID. It's not issuing a passport. It's not issuing a visa. It's something that we were under the understanding could be done at the local level, which is kind of like a county in this state. So the departamento, which is a subdivision of the National Immigration Office in Managua. So I had looked up the address for the departmental level Migracion here in Matagalpa, which happens to be within the city of Matagalpa. So it's Department of Matagalpa, City of Matagalpa. And I already knew the first address on Google was incorrect, which is a whopping 4 blocks from where I live. Knew that one was no good anymore. I went with the second address posted, which had modern Google reviews of the great service they got from there. Services less than 5 months ago. Lo and behold, I walked down there, which is farther than the southern bus terminal, so almost 3 kilometers, and found out that that address was incorrect. My feet have been bothering me, whiny. I got plantar fasciitis. I got inserts that I'm waiting to get recasted back in the States for orthotic inserts. I'm seeing a foot doctor when I go back in July, all those kinds of things. So the inevitable, didn't feel like doing the additional half-mile walk and then having to do nearly a 2-mile walk back just to get to class that day. So smartly, I stopped by. I went back to the house that day. So the next morning, I go to Brooklyn Cafe for my breakfast, and I take a cab from Brooklyn Cafe to the proper Migracion address, which is actually across the bridge, farther southwest in town, across from the Uno gas station and Tip Top restaurant. Tip Top is a small franchise you may or may not see in the U.S., which is solely pollo, chicken. Did not get gringo price, got a great price on the cab. I paid 30 cord to get across town, saved my feet. Happy, great driver, safe driver. and I got to the Migracion office, which is a micro version of what we saw in Managua. Well, there's 4 windows, 3 are closed. There is one sole governmental employee working the building and about 25 people waiting in line to be seen. The TV screen's off, there's no take a number, and I'm looking around and I couldn't figure out how you're supposed to know who's next. So I sat in the back of the room, and lo and behold, once somebody got done with the attendant, everybody stood up, moved over one chair, sat back down. So we were playing musical chairs in an organized fashion. We got about halfway through the crowd before she looked over, saw me, pulled me up. Again, my lack of Spanish, there was no English on her part, but what we derided was I showed her my paperwork and she kept on shaking her head, and I caught Managua, meaning the main office, and she also said Esteli, which is the next departmental over, which would be very strange if I had to go to a different department. So as an example, my hometown in Charlotte County, Florida, if I needed to get something done at the county level, and then suddenly Charlotte County says, oh, I'm sorry, if you need this done at the county level, you need to go to Sarasota County, not the county you live in. So disconnect in the information. So I wasn't able to get it done, but kudos. One of our WhatsApp group guys, Federico, had told me that he had met with this one individual frequently. She was very nice. She was courteous. I mean, I didn't have to understand every word to realize there was no frown on her face. She wasn't scolding. She wasn't shouting. She was being informative in her native language. So kudos to her, because I will be seeing her again in the future. No issues with staff, but I wasn't able to get done what I thought I could get done. So leave the building, find out I cannot find a cab. So now, if you're familiar with the map, NICA 3 is the highway that runs on the west side of the city. We're going to have some loud music in a moment. And I had to walk all the way up that, about 2 kilometers, before I could turn and hang eastbound right towards town. Got to the middle of town to Parque Morazan, the Central Park by the cathedral, sat there and rested for a few minutes, and then got the epiphany that I need to go talk to my attorney, who's 3 blocks away. Went in, saw Pablo. Pablo's confused as well. While he's not an immigration specialist, a lot of what I've done has actually been informative for him for dealing with expats in the future. So again, I broke the land speed record getting my residency approved in 2 weeks. Nobody else that we know of or have heard of has gotten their residency approved this quickly. So I explained to him what I was trying to do, and he goes, well, you shouldn't have to ask permission. And I said, well, evidently this is a law that's been on the books for a while, and per a YouTube video posting that came through government officials and some of our other WhatsApp people, it is now being enforced. And again, I don't have a problem with that. But it's confusing to me that I may need to take chicken buses and spend a day to go all the way down to Managua to hand off these documents when there's no true processing involved. They're not creating a document, blah, blah, blah. So Pablo looked at his calendar. We are going to go on Monday, June 2nd, or dos de junio. Not Julio, that would be July. Uno. We're going to be going on June 2nd in the afternoon over to the local office, and he's going to get a definitive answer from him of exactly what needs to happen. So, best case scenario, there was just a misunderstanding and my lack of Spanish, and I'm able to submit this handful of documents to them, and I've met my criteria because I've already got my plane tickets. I leave 4 weeks from today. Worst case scenario, we get the confirmation that I need to go to Managua. So I take my Spanish classes daily, Monday through Friday. The Migracion office is open Monday through Saturday. So if on Monday the 2nd we get the bad news that I need to go to Managua to drop this off, I'm going to be planning an ODARC 30 trip on the following Saturday to facilitate this. And then it doesn't interrupt the only and one thing on my calendar, my Spanish lessons, which once I get done with the visit in July and I come back to Nicaragua for long term, I'm going to start doubling down on 2 hours a day for classes to help accelerate where I'm lacking. Right now, this week, we've been practicing numbers, and so far I've had to count from 0 up to 600. I get a little dry-mouthed in the process. But so next Monday, I will post another video explaining the explicit details of a very simple formality for expats who have already obtained their residency and wish to leave the country for whatever reasons. Again, you can't be out of country more than 180 days. It's my belief that these letters help them tally up the numbers and keep a tighter rein on who's here and who isn't, which again isn't a problem. It's just an administrative procedure. So with that, that was my update. Again, thank you for all the subscribers. We're at 86 last I checked. Please hit the like, please hit the subscribe, please share the video, tell a friend. Huge traffic on the veteran-centric episode. And if you notice the last one, I am trying to retroactively go back and add Spanish subtitles as an option. So you can auto-generate the English subtitles. I watch a lot of video with English subtitles. My hearing isn't perfect. It's an affirmation of what I think I hear, confirming it or correcting it. And as I'm starting to become bilingual, I'm trying to incorporate this into a larger audience. I do have a lot of NICAs following through my Google reviews. I have some NICAs from the WhatsApp group, and I've had a couple NICAs as subscribers on the YouTube. So if I can help them, who are predominantly Spanish-only people, some are going to be bilingual, if I can provide good subtitles to help affirm what they think they hear, then we've just opened the audience base up larger with good, valid information of the day. So that is my quick update, just under 12 minutes. Again, I wish you all well, and until the next episode, adios.